Solving inequalities. Now, this usually freaks out students when I show them this. And then I'll say, well, what does that look like? And they're like, I don't know, but I'm going to give you some idea. It's actually a math problem. In fact, you're saying r minus 7 is less than 10. And what we're going to do is we're going to solve this using algebra. So what we want to do is we want to solve for r. And if this was algebra, well, let me write it a little differently. Though this is not true, I'm just going to write it up here. And I'd say, hey, if this was algebra, what would you do? Well, you'd say, I'd do the opposite of subtracting by 7, is to add the other side by 7. So you would do this. And then you would say r is equal to 17. I'd say, yes, that's correct. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the exact same thing that you do over here, except it's not an equal sign. It's going to be this inequality symbol. And that's it. That's the only difference. So hopefully that will kind of make it seem a little easier to understand, and plus not get too nervous about what you're looking at. I always tell students also, if you have trouble saying it, just don't say it. The opposite of subtracting 7 is to add 7. See how I use the symbol? And there we go. Now let's go ahead and say this. It says r is greater than 17. Okay, let's go ahead. As you can see on my chart's not big enough for number 17. Let's just put it up there. So let's say that's 17 right there. Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and put a mark. Now, is it going to be an open circle or a closed circle? It's a closed circle because the answers cannot be 17. So at 17, I'm going to put a closed circle or an open circle. And then where are the answers located? Are they located greater or are they located less? Well, according to this, it says the answers are greater. So they're going to be moving to the right. See how that works? Let's do another one. Let's do this guy. Okay. Again, you're going to solve it just like you would algebra. Don't make a big deal about it. Okay. So here we go. The opposite of subtracting -2 is to add -2 to the other side. So adding -2. See? And if you have trouble, like again, if that bothers you, don't say anything. Just keep your mouth shut and do your algebra. All right. And now we have to do adding -1 and -2. That's a -3. So here we go. We'll just continue to write. See? And now we solve. So that's it. It says r is less than or equal to -3. Okay, so let's go find -3, and we're going to put a mark. Now, what mark do we put there? Did you say the closed circle? That would be correct, because it has this line underneath it. So it means that the answers can be -3. Now, are the answers going to be greater or are the answers less? The answers are less. So that means that they're going to be following this direction to the left, because those answers are smaller. So you go in this direction. Now, there is one thing that you have to be aware of when you're doing solving inequalities like this, and it's when you are either multiplying with a negative number or dividing with a negative number. Let me show you. And this one, I don't really want to explain why and how. I just want to show you what is going on, because if we start getting into the whys, then we're really starting to like get away from the whole purpose. So here we go. Do you notice you see this math problem here? So it says -2 times r is greater than 4. So we're going to solve this using algebra. So here we go. So the opposite of multiplying by -2 is to divide by -2. So what I want to do is do that. Now, there is something that happens. Anytime a negative number is being transferred to the other side, okay? Now, this can be either moving from the left to the right or the right to the left. Anytime a negative number is transferring from one side to the other, the sign, the inequality, will flip directions. Again, don't ask me why. It doesn't really matter. What we want to do is we just want to just understand the rules and then move on to our next phase in life. So here we go. You ready? So what we're going to do is we're going to do the opposite of dividing by, or opposite of multiply by -2, which is to divide by -2. So here we go. R, and then watch, flip my sign direction, and then I write divided by -2. 4 divided by -2 is -2. There we go. So remember, when you are working with a negative, now this is only with multiplication or division. This does not apply to addition or subtraction. This is only for multiplication and division. If you do this with addition or subtraction, it will be incorrect. So you go to 2. Let's go ahead and graph this so we can finish it up. We go to 2, and what do we put? An open circle at -2. And are the answers to the left less than, or the answers to the right greater than? And the answers are to the left, less than. Okay, so don't forget that rule. Flip directions when you're multiplying or dividing with a negative number.